Hey guys, what's going on? Michael Ray here. Happy New Year. 2023 is here, guys. We are back in the saddle riding. You guys have seen a lot of podcasts from us. I hope wherever you're joining us from today, this evening, we are live on all of our platforms: YouTube, StreamYard, Facebook, podcast, wherever you guys are seeing us live. Welcome in, guys. I hope you guys have had a fantastic new year. Ended it right. We took a big old long break. I pretty much checked out and I enjoyed it. Had a good time, but it's been really cool to get back in. Hey, hi guys, how y'all doing? I see everybody coming on here. Santa Marie, how you doing, young lady? Merry Christmas. 2023 is going to be your year. What's your word for this year, guys? That's a question. I had Carol, who jumps in all the time, is one of our big fans, super great friend of mine. She comes to a lot of our networking stuff. Met her about 5 or 6 years ago now. She was like, "What's your word?" And there's so many people have like had this word like unstoppable, unbreakable, clarity, transformation. What is your word for this year? That's what I'd like to know when you check in here now, guys. What's your word? Hey guys, thanks for jumping in. Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year, guys. I'm seeing some of you guys on Facebook, some of you guys on StreamYard, and some of you guys on is that LinkedIn? What is that one over there? I'm not sure what that one is, but we got all of us. We got all the platforms going this evening. A couple of cool things that have happened. Kevin E, the Monster Millennial, he's on the podcast. He's our podcaster. He does a lot of work for us here. Not only podcast, video, our Mindset of a Champion Masterclass. He does that. He had a baby in December. Yeah, he did. Go check him out. Kevin E, he's got his pretty little Ellis is her name. Beautiful young, little tiny thing. She came a little bit early, but everybody's healthy. Mama's healthy. And I'm going to tell you something kind of funny about Kevin E, and I know he watches it. I know that he's going to give me a hard time about this. But he was taking the first time dad, right? Check this out. First time dad. They're leaving the hospital. This is just precious to me. They're leaving the hospital. He's running out as fast, to get the car. He's got the baby seat. He's trying to figure out how to buckle it in. And he's just like, they're checking out. She's coming out in the stroller or in the wheelchair. They have the baby, the big, beautiful send off. And he takes his dominant hand, his right hand. Oh, I love that, Santa Maria. We'll talk about that. Perseverance, invincible and perseverance. You earned that. You earned that, young lady. No doubt about it. You earned that. But let me tell you, we're going to get into your word here in just a minute. I love that. Kevin E goes in right when he's buckling in the car seat for the first time. Guess what happens? He does something to his hand, slices it open, tears some tendons. I know that's not funny, but they checked his wife out. They had to check him in for emergency surgery on his hand. Okay. That is so funny because I was like, hey man, I know you're scared being a dad, but it's going to be okay. You didn't need to send mama home to take care of that baby all by herself. But Kevin, he's got a great supporting cast around him, his family and everything else. It just, he's awesome definitely to say the least. Edwin Britt is joining us right here. He's trying to get in. Let's see. He's having some technical difficulty tonight. He's getting started again too. Maybe that's what it is. I know he's been coaching all day. He's about to join us here. Perseverance and invincibility. Santa Maria Jones, I want you to talk about, I would love for you to be here to talk about this perseverance piece of it, because so many people inside the edge here have gone through so many things these last few years. And since we've been doing this since 2017, we have had, I've talked to people who've lost their parents. I've talked to people who've gone through cancer. I've talked to people who've lost people. And I've talked to people who've gone through, lost things like divorce, people that have lost limbs. We've been able to really share and cry together. And here's what I want to ask you guys, what you're going through tonight. Who are you running with? Okay, who are you running with? That's what we have this thing we say all the time, and we're going to take deeper dives into it, but you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. Period. Think about that. Who you're hanging around with, that's what you're the average of. There's people, I say you need to change who you're hanging around with if you want to go up, but who are you running with? That's one thing you got to ask yourself. Who are you running with or running from? Oh man, that's some heat. The Inside Edge people tonight are bringing some heat tonight. Uh-oh, let me just send this to Edwin real quick. Who are you running with or running from? And here's the deal, guys. When you get caught up in that, and I've heard people tell me this, yeah, but I got family. And you know how it is having family. And I was like, yes, exactly. I do know how it is family. And there are some things and some time when you do want to get away, and that's okay. You can, but oh man, I've been running with these guys since they were little bitty. These are my crew from a long time ago. So I feel like I got to no, you don't. You don't have to put up with this. There's a boundary you can set up and put yourself in the right way. Because, and I love this analogy too, that we have a lot of people are going through, and it's called, who are you? Are you running with cattle? Or are you running with buffalo? We have a big longhorn this week that got shot over my son's property and my wife's mom and dad's property. And somebody came by off the side of the road and popped this heifer and hit her. It's a big, beautiful longhorn, but they were just doing it out of spite, I think. It survived? It hurt, but it's already gotten the shot. It's back out there in the herd and it's doing really well. But are you running with cattle or are you running with buffalo? That's what I want you guys to ask yourself. Who am I running with? Who is helping me grow up? Who's helping me go up? Or who's holding me back? Because there's two things that happen when stress comes on us. We have fight or flight. And that reminded me when all that thing went down, we had to get it over to the vet and do some things with it. But fight or flight, that's what you're going to do. One or two things. It kicks in and your adrenaline kicks in. And if you are in a mindset, which we talk a lot about the mindset of a champion, if you're in a mindset of fight or flight with the people that you hang around with, they're always like, hey, don't be doing that. Watch out for that. If you're in that mindset, what's it really look like? Are we going to fight? Are we going to flight? And if you're running with cattle like that, guess what happens? You're going to bounce quickly. And then, or if you're running with bison, the herd of bison or buffalo. And the reason I say that is because, and I've used this analogy before from the front of stage, but I've got to think about this a lot lately. And I love that word of perseverance, Santa Marie. Invincibility. Think about what she just said there too. And if you're running with the people that lift you up and push you forward, that tell you a can-do attitude, or more importantly, the right kind of attitude, the attitude of problem solver, the attitude of perseverance, the attitude, and the people around you, if they're like that, when you get spooked and you want to retract, you want to fly, you want to leave, if you're running with those kind of people, you're going to be out the door. You're going to be following them. But if you're running with buffalo, and here's why I say that, because over the Rocky Mountains, this is where what they discovered was when cattle are there, the big storm comes over the mountains, and there's a big herd of cattle. As soon as they see the storm, the cattle get spooked. Hey, Edwin Brett, we'll jump you in here in just a minute, brother.
Yeah, brother, I'm listening and learning. Go for it.
Welcome back, Bubba. Well, what happens when you get spooked? With a herd of cattle get spooked, you know what they do? They run. They run away from the storm. And then as the storm comes over, it's eventually going to catch them. It might be moving slow. It might be moving fast. But as that storm catches up with the cattle, they're running away from it. Look how much longer they are in with the storm. As soon as when a herd of buffalo see a storm coming, they turn and they walk to the storm. They turn and they walk into it. They don't run, they walk. So they meet it head on. They meet that storm head on. Perseverance. What a word. And they go through the storm and they get through it faster. Because why? Because they look at it, they turn and get in front of it, and they know bad things happen. There's been some devastating things happen. And Santa Marie, you've shared some things with me this year. That's my kindred spirit right there. We love you, and you've been with us for a long time, and we're so grateful that you're here this evening too. But perseverance is something, you're growing. You're getting better. When people are going to push back on you, and you stand up to it and deal with it and become a problem solver, and say, can-do attitude, not a can't-do attitude. When you have that kind of, and I'm talking about not a positive attitude. I've said this a lot because we get caught. And Edwin and I, especially Edwin, because he, shared so much with Mr. Ziegler, shared the stage with him, and he mentored with him. They catch him in the positive attitude book. Well, I feel like that's super important to have a positive attitude. That allows what Edwin says so well, way better than me. Pressure can go down, confidence can go up, and you can move through things quicker. And here's what Mr. Zig said. I will promise you this: a positive attitude helps you do everything better than a bad attitude. But sometimes it is the right attitude, the determined attitude, the perseverance attitude, the pissed off a little bit. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to cuss about it, but it's not okay to quit about it. Everyone, I was telling them it kind of that the heifer, the cattle, and the buffalo came to mind. because several different reasons. We had an incident with some cattle in our little herd, Trent's place over there, and we got some stuff done today. But there's another reason I say that story is that a guy that I've been working with and mentoring and coaching under, and he'll tell you, he says, that's his words, for about 6, I've known him for 10 years, but 6 years we've been working together, and he has gone out, and tomorrow morning he launches his company. He launches his business. And I hadn't told you the details of it, Edwin, but Mike D, he'll be checking in and watching too. And I was with him the day before the launch, baby, when I've been working with him for the last week. We've been, for the last couple of weeks, planning and preparing, and we've been in the T process. And in the T process, the think, plan, and prepare is what he's into. And I was with him walking him through this. And he said, I want you to look at this and ask me questions on it. And Edwin, I popped into the trust process. And I thought about this. I thought about fight or flight, how he needed to be pushed a little bit. He came to me several months ago, and it wasn't me. I mean, all I did was ask him questions. He left, got a new company, found out that's not where he wanted to be, had an opportunity to do what his dream job is. And then he came to me and he said, well, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. If he would have been running with other people, the average of 5 people you hang around with, if he'd been running with other people, you know what they would have said? Oh man, be careful now. I got people that are in my household every holiday go, hey man, you better be careful about wanting to do that. I've not met one good idea out of those people. Not one. All I did did what Edwin, what you do to me all the time. You go, well, let me ask you a question. And then I set up the question to relate to him. And then he answered some questions. And when I started relating to what he wanted, which I already knew what he wanted, because like Edwin, I don't ask him questions I already know the answer to.
Right.
I started uncovering the need. And then all this light bulb went off in his head. And he saw, because he's been with me for 7 years, and when he's been to see us speak several times, he's gone through the trust process with me. And tomorrow he launches his dream job, and it is going to be successful, I promise you, because we've uncovered enough need. And now guess what? We had a solution when we were in that T. We had many solutions that he already knew they were because we had talked about them years before. All I did was remember this, bring that up, run this formula, try this, see what that looks like. Does your budget match here? And he plugged everything. It's been really awesome to watch him plug this in. And he wasn't running because the people he surrounded himself were supportive. They were buffalo. They said, there's a storm right here. But I guarantee you, I know what's on the other side of it, baby, and it is sunshine. Tomorrow we launch this. And I was with him at the end of the day today. He was wearing every hat, Edwin. He was sleeping on the floor. He was ready to sign the checks. He was double checking inventory. He was going through, making sure all of his marketing was just right. He had his branding set up all pretty, and he kept moving this. He'd just move that a little bit here, move it a little bit there. I said, hey, leave it alone, baby. It looks good. You got to get ready. And he's got his accounting. He's had everything. He said all 5 areas that we teach. He is immersed in it right now. Tomorrow is his launch. And I think about this, Santa Maria, when you say perseverance. He has persevered through several things, and it was like this. He did a pivot. He never quit. He never changed his mind to go. He questioned himself, but he had a mentor involved. He questioned himself, but he never decided not to go. Now, he changed the path because life threw different things at him on how to get there. And Edwin said, you said it better than anybody else, Edwin. The journey is more fulfilling than the end. And I can promise you that, Edwin. You know who I'm talking about, E. But it's going to be fun in the morning when we get to launch this business and I get a chance to see. It's like mine and your little baby growing up, man. We let him go off to school.
Hey man,
good to see you, Bubba.
Great to see you, Michael. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to our big audience all around the world. Michael, man, I just was digging what you were saying. You could just keep going, right? But he could not have a better mentor, a better coach, a better example than you. And everything you said there is so, so true, man. And I shared with you earlier today, I'm just so fired up about what we can accomplish together this year and the impact we can have with so many people. I see some of these comments coming in. We appreciate that. Keep them going. Hey, Michael, one of the things that people love about you and I, and I'm going to just go on record again. Michael has no idea I'm going to ask him these questions.
We hadn't had a chance to talk, baby. The only thing you told me is I'm fired up. That's all you told me.
Yeah, I got some questions I've been polling people with, and we answer questions that our audience provides us. And please, if you have a question, answer it. Or if you want to reflect on the question I'm going to ask Michael, totally unprompted, he has no idea what I'm going to ask. We're just going to watch it happen. And I'll follow up behind that. But jump in with us. Participate in this conversation. This is an inclusive conversation for our audience. But Michael, here's the first question for you, brother. You ready? Michael, you with me?
I'm right here, man. I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you respond. Okay.
I was pondering the point.
Yeah. What are you most proud of? The first 4 questions are reflective questions. So what are you most proud of, Michael?
Me personally? Right off the bat, I'm proud of
reflect on 22, your journey, your family, your businesses. What are you most proud of, man?
I'm proud of some of the things and the strides that we've made as a family in our business, the way we've stood those things up and the way my family has come together and what I've been able to, how I've been able to serve my family. And when I say family, it's in business and, it's in personal, but I'm also proud of my kids, the way they work and the way they do about their business because they're older now, most of them, and my little 16-year-old. She's just ready to be launched too into the world because we've raised them the right way. I feel like.
Yeah. So a little bit of context to that for our audience. Michael had no idea I was going to ask that question, but also Michael doesn't necessarily like to talk about himself. He likes to pour into others. But if you know anything about him, it's about his family, the people around him, and taking care of those people, right, and providing a pathway for them to run on. So I anticipated that. Hey, Michael. And again, this is for our audience too. As you reflect back on 22, brother, and it was an interesting year. We can all agree upon that. On a variety of scopes, economically, social impacts, business impacts, and trickle down effect from that. What did you learn, man? What did you learn in 2022 that you think is going to help you be a better business person in 2023?
I've learned personally what's going to make me better is where I've already started doing is stepping back. We poured in and I built all these paths for these people to run on and for the family to be successful, the business to get business for the next 18 months. Now I get to do what most people I think get caught up in because I'm so busy doing this. And man, in December, the part of December, I felt lost for a minute. I mean, I'm gonna go deep on you. I won't go too deep on you, but I was like a little bit. I found myself a little perplexed, a little depressed, maybe a little bit. What? Everything that I've worked for, the journey is more fulfilling than the end.
Yeah.
Everything, and I've been on. And I told you someday I wake up every morning, and I'm running from who I was, but I'm chasing who I can be. Well, I got stuck in that middle for a minute, so I was like, I need to transition back to building the life by design, not just building this person's path to be successful if they take the path, this person, all the people. I had to go back a little bit, step back, reset, restructure, refocus, and relaunch myself into what we preach. I started practicing it.
Yeah, I love that, man. And you and I, we just did an event together that was we had a great full room there in Arlington, Texas, and that's what you and I talked about, right? Being transparent, not performing, but really delivering. And I anticipated that answer, but I love that answer. And so for our audience, here's 2 questions reflectively. What are you most proud of? If you haven't thought about that, more important, if you haven't written it down in some format, please do that. Whether you watch it now or later. You heard Michael's answer. So what are you most proud of, right? Because what that helps you do is identify your purpose. And what did you learn? When you can start identifying what you learned, there's where implementation comes into effect. And that's the path towards improvement. What did I learn that I can make a difference in? And Michael does this so well. He talks about just going as far as you can see, Michael, and doing these little daily things that, you didn't get to where you are in some quantum leap. You did it one meeting, one beer napkin at a time. Is that not true, brother?
That is fact. And that is, Edwin, it's funny you say that because I've gone back to that because I look back now and I'm going to tell you something right now. I wouldn't want to have to do it all over again. I would, but it's those little stackable moments. And I look back at all I've learned today and I've gone back and I'm put myself right back in that position again to relaunch myself into my new life by building those little stackable moments, having those conversations, writing down, immersing myself into places that I can be relevant in and serve people best. That's a great way to put it, Edwin. I know where you're going with some of this stuff now because I've gotten a lot of people return those coaching packets that we put out there in our event.
Exactly. These are all reflective questions driven by the best thought leaders in this space,
Yes.
really in the world. Now, here's a current state of mind question, Michael. And again, as I'm asking Michael this, I want our audience, I'm really asking our audience, I'm just giving Michael an opportunity since he's unmuted, right, to be able to answer it. Do you still love what you do, Michael? Do you still love what you do? And before you answer that, are you prepared to enjoy the benefits of your potential, your resources, your health, your talent, your passion? Or, you know what, man, do you want to pay the price and not take advantage of those? I know the answer, but do you love what you do, and are you prepared to enjoy the benefits of all of your gifts, brother?
Well, you might be surprised about that a little bit, because sometimes you get caught up in doing it so much, it becomes a little bit mundane, and it's really easy to get pulled back into some, negative thinking, some stinking thinking.
Right.
But I do love what I do now. I do love what I do. When I really look at it, and my gratitude that I've been showing towards myself, I've let things wash over me and be proud of what I've been able to do, even though it's been hard. I've had to change a lot of things. So
Right.
I do. Yes, I'm very proud of it. I do. It's harder for me to let myself enjoy them sometimes, because I feel like there's always something else to do. So I have to be really disciplined, and I have to really persevere to make sure that I'm enjoying what we've built. And that's what we set out to do, is design your life, man. So enjoy those. Everybody needs to enjoy it now.
Michael, you're going to love this question, because you framed this question. This is a Michael Ray Newman question. He built it around two acronyms that have stuck with me more than maybe anything I've ever really, including my time with Mr. Ziglar. The two things that I think have stuck with me the most is what's important now, when, and whatever it takes. Both of those originated from you, Michael. So what's the most important thing you feel you need to focus on as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and that others like-minded like you, who maybe haven't had your success but are trying to go where you've been, where you are, what do they need to focus on? What's important now for you, brother? Because those big rocks, man, we go to take a bite of them one day at a time, but we got to have them out there in front of us.
Yeah, what's important now for me is making sure, and it depends on every person. What's important for those people is different what it should be for me. Exactly. I mean, that you know that. And I think the biggest transition for a lot of our people that are inside the edge, business owners, people that are leaders, marketing leaders, they're leaders within their company, their middle management that are leading, that are growing up. They have to understand there's only 5 areas of your business you got to deal with, right? And you got to know who to pass those off to. But for the solopreneur, for the people that are building their business, you got to know when to take the hat off and stop the operations, stop being the operator, stop being the hustler, and start becoming the CEO. And you got to be able to scale anything, to be able to really live a life by design, to be able to laptop life, money while you sleep, whatever you want to call it. And I've gotten back to that point where I don't build my business. I build people, and those people build the business. And when you saw that I had my operational director of operations, my largest company, at that event, he goes, man, there's nothing but a bunch of entrepreneurs here and successful business guys. I feel, no, dude. And he realizes now why he was there.
Yeah.
Because I've been able to build him up, and now he's even more excited about building the company, and he's going to benefit from that. So I think the biggest thing for guys, when you want to scale, when you come to a point where you've been sweeping the floor and signing the checks, business related, what's important now for me is to make sure that I'm helping those people, which I've done before with the heavy lifting in the family. But now we got all the pot simmering. Now I just need to make sure I check in. They know when to call me when there's a big issue, and that's fine. I love doing that, but I can work wherever I want and whenever I want. And that's able to focus Edwin to the other win list, checking in on the kids, making sure that we're going to Disney when we're supposed to be, making sure that I'm getting what I need to do when I want to go out and get on the lake or ride a horse or whatever I got to do. For me, it's okay to let myself have those things, because we've worked so hard to have those. And that's the season that I'm in right now. Great question.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Beautiful answer. And, to watch you answer these with no idea what I'm going to ask, but the person that you referenced that you had come to our event, I know you compensate him well, and he earns every dollar he gets for what he does. And he performs extremely difficult, and he does it very well in this role for one of your companies. But what you did more importantly is you expressed appreciation for him, right? By saying, "Hey, you're valuable," right? And there's things that you can do and learn, and I want to help you do that. And for those of us who are watching tonight that maybe have people like that, man, the best thing you can do for your people is you can show appreciation for them right now this time of the year. And I wanted to say this one last thing, and I'm gonna throw you one more question, Michael. Often we have this heightened sense of urgency, and you and I coach to that, right? Finish strong, start fast, get it going, get your plan going, get a big launch, kick the year off strong. All that's accurate, right? However, I do want to say this. Take your ideas, your one word, your big rock, your goals, your daily targets. You know what? Take a little patience. Give yourself a little grace and a little patience in the month of January. Don't determine if what you're doing is going to be beneficial or worthwhile in the first 2 or 3 weeks, because you're probably not going to get the immediate results. In fact, you're probably going to get the opposite. And what that forces people to do is they quit too early. Let this whole 30 days foster. Keep working your plans. Keep reflecting on your questions. Keep going back and revisiting these things. Keep dialing it in. In other words, that canvas is yours. It's really yours in 23. And let go of the complaining and the excuses and focus on your design. Like, what would it really look like if you were going to design exactly what was going to bring you the most joy and the most return? And that's what Michael and I are about. And everything you've said today, Michael, I got one more question for you. But you validated why anybody in our audience needs a coach in 2023. And the one criteria I've had 18 coaching calls in the last 2 days. The number one thing people have said they wanted out of coaching was this: accountability. 100% of the time when I frame that question at the end, how would you feel about adding one more call that's a 5 or 10 minute call, that's a call to action, this good feeling, this intention we have right now, that's accountable? They said, "Oh man, that's the one thing I need." So if everybody I've talked to needs it, and everybody I've talked to is earning 6 figures and above, then so do you, right? Michael, my last question for you, brother, right? What is your most passionate, like when you had to really, if you just had to define one thing, man, that you were most passionate about, that was your passion project for 23, what would it be, man?
Getting the University of Texas back to the national championship, baby. Hook 'em horse.
That's a damn good one.
Hey, my passion project for 23E is for you and I to be able to serve more people. This is my passion project.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been working towards. Because life ain't fair, baby. I already said it earlier. Life's a bitch. Pisses me off, get all fired up, get mad at it, throw a fit to myself, get mad at myself. But there's really and truly, there's no such thing as a bad or good decision. I learned that from a guy named Edwin Britt. Only consequences, that you have to take those chances. And here's what I want you guys to understand is that me and Edwin being able to serve you this, and I said this today on a marketing call, yesterday on a marketing call, Edwin, with the company that's going to be launching some of our stuff, is that this is my passion project. And what does that mean? That doesn't mean I want you to walk around and tell me everything's good. You do not need those yes people around you all the time. Those are part of the problem. All right. Now, family's part of the problem too. Edwin, go through if you can, read scroll through some of those. Let's take them in just a minute. I can't really see my screen. It's on a smaller screen here today, but we'll look through there. But here's what I want you guys to understand. That person that's going, woo, watch out, that business isn't going to work. That person loves you. All right. And also the people that, oh man, it's great. It's going to be good. Some of those people just want your money. All right. And I said that I had this conversation, Edwin, you'd already kind of laid it out there, they said, but I brought this marketing company to our event so these people would get a flavor of what we do. And I said, I will hire fast and I'll fire fast, period. That's what's going to have to happen for us to get along, because I go on my gut a lot. But if you sit there and tell me my baby ain't ugly and the baby's ugly and it needs a diaper changed, I'm going to be pissed off when somebody comes along and tells me the truth. We're going to dump a lot of money into you. Once you guys, we'll work with you guys. We'll work for you. But I want to be able to impact as many people as I possibly can. And good or bad or indifferent, this platform, what we do, Edwin, I mean, we go and have, in person, I can't even tell you the tens of thousands of people that we've spoken to, but we have been able to reach millions online. That is a fact. Now, I want you guys to understand this too. By the mile, it's a trial. By the inch, it's a cinch. I want to go back to it, and I'm going to turn this back up. We'll read some of these things in a minute. But Edwin, what you said a while ago was really profound, and I hope guys didn't let that slide off because there's been some good content here. This is going to be posted on our YouTube channel. Go to Michael Ray Newman Inside Edge. Subscribe to that. Check it out. We post a lot of shorts on there as well. A lot of real just-in-time training for you guys. But Edwin said something. Don't fall off the cliff in January. Two things. Whatever you've written down as your what do you call those things? Resolutions, right?
Yeah.
I don't even have those. Those are gone. I want you to tear them up and throw them away. And you got to write them back down and go deeper. Let them simmer until all the way through January, okay? Now, we got to make it, but find out what it takes. You don't write your goals in a day, a night. It's an 8, 10, 12, 16-hour process, and we're always coming back and reevaluating. You have to have it down on paper, but don't be so hard on yourself. Let's just let it simmer. Let it simmer for a minute. Like my granny used to say, by the mile, it's a trial, by the inch, it's a cinch. But you got to go a little bit at a time, and you got to think bigger. Nobody here is thinking big enough. All right?
And to compliment that, Michael, is I think every day you have to look back and you say, okay, did I do to my best ability what was important today? Not did I do everything? And ask yourself, what did I learn today that I can apply tomorrow? Man, you stack 30 days of what did I learn today that I can apply tomorrow and substitute that for complaining about things you cannot control. You'll change your world, man. Michael, can I read a couple comments that are here that so many people have commented?
Yeah, please do. We'll wrap it up here in just a couple minutes.
So they validated about, you're going to be 2 of the 5 people I want. Someone said, hey, you're one of the 2 people in my life, Michael, that I want to be around. So you're in somebody's circle. You're in a lot of people's circles, but there you go.
Hey, you guys you get me and Edwin in your circle, we'll take up like 4 of those spots.
That's right. And somebody said, hey, people have been conditioned to believe that a friend in need is a friend indeed, but that couldn't be further from the truth from their perspective. Those so-called friends are only there as a matter of convenience when it suits them or does not disrupt their status quo. And that's true, man. We do have people in our circle who are situational friends, right? And we have to be able to discern between that. And sometimes we learn that the hard way.
You got to shuffle the deck, baby.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
right.
We got to shuffle the deck.
You know what? You know what's helped me on that, Michael, is this intuitive instinct where, man, like you and I have, where your yes means yes and your no means no. And there's just that level of trust that's there. That's a good discernment piece, right? Can I really trust and depend on that person in good or bad times? Won't be able to read them all, guys. We have so many. But somebody said, and you'll appreciate this, Michael, glad to hear you help Mike D. Another thing when we talked about family 20 years ago when the company was just starting, you told me to hang with y'all and things will be great. Well, brother, I did, and I'm so proud and thankful I listened to you. And we do have our friend Francis on several of our comments. Francis, we love you, and we appreciate your passion. We can't wait to come along beside you. Michael, I think you have a meeting upcoming with her pretty soon.
Yeah, we're going to meet Friday, Francis. Yeah. I'll let you know the time, but 1 o'clock my time, if you can jump in, we're going to meet up, Francis. I am Francis ... She is an amazing person. She is you got to meet her, man, and she cares about people wanting to serve, and she's got a couple of awesome things coming on. It looks like she said she's got her airport going. That's right. She tells me that. But the guy the old boy that said 20 years ago, we had a couple of big things that just happened at the end of this year. I'm really, really proud of. So Jack Kilgore is one of those guys. He was
love Jack.
We have had thousands of people work for us, but he was number 0001 employee. I've told this story before, and I probably on here. But this old boy shows up, and the way it all started was hilarious. Someday I'll set it down over here and tell you guys how it went. But I slid out there, and I recruited him right there on property, and he's like, okay, I'm in. And this dude has been shot on my clock. He has had his truck ran up on a rock on my clock. He has been cussed out on my clock. This guy is solid as a rock. And this was our 20th year anniversary for that company. It. I'm very proud of that company.
Yeah.
Number
he's
2.
A loyal friend. Yep.
Oh man, he's as good as they get. And he's like, man, you gonna make me retire? I was like, brother, he's gonna be there longer than I am. I'll be way gone by the time he is. Number 2, Newman Construction of Texas. Brother Bruce Newman started that back in 1992, and it was 30 years this year for Newman Construction. A lot of things have happened, and we've been able to put people in place standing up, and I'm very super proud of that, guys, and super proud of everyone to be involved. I can't wait for our 10 years coming up. Then we'll get into that 20 and 30, me and you. Inside Edge, Mindset of a Champion, Life by Design. You guys need to subscribe and come see us.
That's right. Sounds great, Michael. Man, God bless everybody. Thanks, Michael, man. Always, man. I was feeling really good when I started. I'm feeling even better now. So thanks for that, man.
Hey, don't quit. Even though you're one day. If you fall off the wagon, no matter what you're trying to do, losing weight, making money, saving money, changing your job. If you hate where you are, change it. Start getting on LinkedIn. If you're in the company and you want to grow up, it's time for you to glow up. Okay, let's go. Don't quit. Just don't quit and give yourself a little bit of grace. You're one day away from starting over. You're one day away of getting back on track. 1 hour away from getting back on track. And so that's all you guys got to know. Okay, don't quit. You got us. You're running with the herd of buffalo, baby, not the Longhorn. Herd of buffalo. You're running with us. All right, Edwin Britt, Life by Design, baby. I appreciate you, man. Love you guys. Have a fantastic week. Play hard, have fun, and above all else, make it count. All right, guys.
See you guys.
See you, E. Appreciate y'all.
See you, buddy.
See you, buddy. Bye.